All right. So Elevate Online. I decided to call this particular presentation 1 hour to unlock sales and marketing wins because I think a lot of people are really stuck on the fundamentals that are really preventing them from things like, successful Google Ads campaigns and SEO and, Facebook or whatever marketing you guys are doing. It comes down to the same fundamentals. So I think it's worthwhile going through this and happy for you to pop questions and chat along the way. Let's see how we go. My name's Alexi. I run a whole bunch of different things. My main business is called Your Easy Web Solutions. However, I do have another venture called Better Business. In fact, that is the name of my book, Better Business That Works. And I have a podcast as well. I love challenging myself. I love sharing my learnings. And overall, my passion is to help businesses grow. I work very closely with business owners, with marketing teams. And overall, I look at creating a positive change. So your Easy Web Solutions, or short as Use, has been around for quite some time, established in 2007, and we focus on results-driven campaigns. So we're an agency focusing on B2B marketing, specializing in digital marketing, sales, process automation, and AI-related stuff to really help along the way with all these things. We are pretty old school type business. We've got offices in Brisbane, Gold Coast, and Melbourne, and overall, we have a multitude of different skills across the team as well. We have been featured on The Current Affair a couple of times, and you may have seen that. If you have, probably that would make you smile because we were featured for a piece where we were fighting for our trademark against Kanye West. And that was known as the David versus Goliath battle, which we actually won. So we got our trademark Use, which Kanye West wanted to trademark. So it's something you can look up. There's a couple of videos that will pop up, and I'm sure they'll make you smile. We are one of the very few people who ended up in The Current Affair for all the right reasons. Otherwise, we're known for our client retention. The majority of digital marketing agencies have a retention of about, I'd say, 3 to 9 months. On average, our customer retention rate is about 5 to 7 years. We work very closely with the business owners without any contracts. And we have a pretty good success rate, as you can imagine. Otherwise, there's no contracts that bound our engagements. Our team is local, and we really try to deliver the best customer service we can. Yeah, we're really proud of working with thousands of local businesses and have got a couple of international customers as well. So in terms of what we do specifically, we have got practice-focused solution for anyone who's in legal services. We work with quite a few law firms. We work with quite a few accounting firms. We work with businesses that are in the medical field, specialize in things. And overall, it's about digital marketing, CRMs, sales coaching, AI solutions, and we do a lot of mentoring and coaching because oftentimes business owners can actually do a lot of things themselves, but they need a good direction. So today's agenda is really more about, I want to focus on quickest paths to get more leads. I want to focus on the overall market and message in terms of a deep dive. I really want to give you some examples as to how to fine-tune that. I want to go through the ad fine-tuning process and then touch on the customer journey and reputation. And then we'll do our breakout session and offer, go through the actual go through the actual presentation questions or anything like that. So overall, I think the purpose of the session is really to focus on the quick wins and something that's really quite on the surface. And as you know, some things are quite fundamental. And this is where a lot of people go and set up things like, Google Ads, for example, using the automated system, and they don't really get the results. The reason for that is that the fundamentals aren't really being set up correctly. And those fundamentals are, in every business, you've got marketing, sales, operations, and accounting. They are 4 integral parts of any business. And today we're going to focus more on the sales and marketing concept because these two things go hand in hand. And oftentimes the marketing doesn't quite reflect the sales process and vice versa. And the last thing you want to do is get inquiries for something that you can't actually convert. So that's the part that I really want to cover today. And that's what I really want to focus on. And once you get that, I think a lot of your marketing will become a lot smoother. So the quickest path to more leads is to actually understand what marketing is all about. So marketing is 3 M's. It's your market, it's your message, and it's your media. This is textbook stuff, right? And when it comes to market, it's really about the target audience. Who is your ideal customer? Who are you trying to sell to? In terms of the message, it's about the ad creative. It's the actual ad that you're showing to people. It's the copy that you're serving. It's the actual image. It's the actual call to actions. And in relation to media, it's the channels that you use. So you should not be comparing, Facebook to Google leads because they actually work in very different environments. But your message and everything else really needs to be adjusted to the media that you're serving. So if you are doing something quite successfully on Google, chances are you need to adapt that in order for that to work on YouTube or Meta or anything like that. So first of all, let's deep dive into the whole target audience. Who specifically are you targeting? And a lot of the time, like, let's say if I work with, let's say roof restoration companies, people will be like, hey, I just want, people that, have a roof. And that's pretty straightforward. However, if you're going to take that assumption, you will spend a lot of dollars on audiences that will never convert. So typically what we do is we start to ask them questions like, okay, are you after homeowners or renters or both? Oh yeah, we want homeowners. So there are homeowners specifically within Google or Facebook that you can target, and you can actually exclude renters. Now, this tip alone will save you thousands of dollars because last thing you want to do is start showing people the ads that are being served to, wrong audience. You've got a lot of historical data. If you've been running Google ads or Facebook for a while, you can see a report to see exactly who's seen your ads. How old are they? Where do they live? Do they use a mobile? Do they use desktop? There's a lot of stuff that really helps you make a decision. And if you don't know, it's okay to start with a bigger audience. But the whole idea is to really narrow it down and make sure you can include and exclude the audience that you don't want. So for example, on the right-hand side, here's an example that we got out of ChatGPT, which we use quite a lot to discover audiences based on a campaign for a general law firm. So we wanted to make sure we find specific audiences as to what people can actually be categorized at. And basically, you've got in-market audiences, which allows you to serve things like video ads or banner ads. And then you've got keywords. So keywords are fairly straightforward. I think everyone understands that. However, when keywords are served, a lot of people forget about the negative keywords. So if you add enough of those, you will not be showing your ads to incorrect people. So put it this way, you got the keywords, you got the audiences, you got the demographics, you got the location, you got the device, you got the time of the day, and overall you can end up with a really, really defined target audience, which will work quite well. In things like Google, you have got audiences for income earners. So you can go top 5% income earners, top 20% income earners, bottom 10%. So really, depending on your market, you can exclude a lot of these people. Now, this is the stuff, guys, that nobody really, for some reason, looks at before they set up their campaign. And if you're just going to go with the automated, setup for Google ads, which typically comes off your Google business, you end up spending a lot of dollars on the people that will never buy from you or potentially waste your time. That's where your tire kickers come from. So demographics, intent, not all the keywords are equal, guys. Some keywords have got a much better intent as opposed to other people. So what I mean by that is intent is where if someone's looking for like a lawyer near me or, best lawyer near me, they are specifically ready to take action because they're looking to potentially pick someone right that moment. And if people are looking for someone like, a visa lawyer Australia, potentially that keyword could be a lot broader in comparison to the other one. What's the overall behavior? You can have a look at people who are on the go. You can have a look at people who are moving around, or you can have a look at people that stay in the same spot. So oftentimes people try to target, let's say, people who are selling property, but it could be actually someone who's traveling a lot. So they're not in the same location all the time, and you're making mistakes of targeting them in the wrong way. You got to really take all these assumptions and put them on the table. And if you're not sure what to do, my advice would be to use ChatGPT and be very specific, saying, hey, I'm trying to understand the best audiences for my business, put in the URL, and then basically prompt saying, hey, historically, my best customers are, 60% men, 40% women, they have got a family, they have got a dog and a cat. Like the more information you're going to give it, the better it's going to be. And then ask it to give you exclusions as well. Which categories of people should I exclude? What are the best ages? What are the best genders? And so on and so on and so on. Chances are we all have got a limited budget, right? So if we're operating with a budget of, let's say, $1,000, $2,000 in a very competitive industry, you got to be really smart with your audience targeting. That will allow you to really avoid showing your ads to a whole bunch of people, guys. This is a pro level tip. And when it comes to huge companies with unlimited budgets, they have got people on a full-time job refining target audience and making sure that this is refined. And there are individual campaigns for different categories of people across Google, across Facebook, which is called omnichannel, and other channels as well. I hope this all makes sense, guys, but this is something where a lot of people really fall short. And whether you're doing Meta advertising or Google, I highly recommend that you start with the first M, market, your target audience. Please pay attention to it. If you're not sure, again, you can really do something around your past customers. Do an export out of your Zero or MYOB or whatever it is that you guys use, load it up into ChatGPT and say, hey, here are my customers. Can you help me understand, the common denominators in terms of audience with these people? So you can actually do that as well, because once it looks at websites, email addresses, and other things as well, it'll get a pretty good idea. Look, machine learning and AI is pretty scary, but you got to use it to your advantage. All right, let's go on to the ad creative. So now this is the actual ad that is being shown. In terms of keeping this simple, I'm just going to stick to Google Ads for now, because I think everybody has tried that, or at least has got some understanding. And what I want to give you here is a bit of a principle that we've developed over time, which is something that we call the aqua principle. Now, the aqua principle is something that you can look up in Google, but essentially it will come up with our website, because it's a part of the book that I'm about to release, which talks about availability, convenience, utility, and affordability. These four main points are the ones that customers want to see in every ad. What I mean by that is, if you, let's say, if you run, I don't know, a dental practice, for example, the first thing that people want to see if they have a toothache is when can they actually come and see you. The price will come later, and if you obviously put the price first, you're going to end up with a lot of wrong type customers. Convenience is things like parking. It's like disability ramps. It's about the things that make this whole transaction more convenient for them. Utility is all about the credibility of the business. Do they take health funds? Do they basically work with certain organizations? Do they support charities or something along those lines? And overall, what's their affordability structure? Do they do payment plans, credit cards, and whatnot as well? If we project this onto a trades business, we're talking about someone wanting to get a quote. So let's say a roofer. How soon can we get it done? Oh, next day quote. That's a big selling point. Convenience. We come to you, or we do this over the internet using your roof or something like that. Utility. We've been in business for 10 years. We are, master builders, master roofers, whatever. And affordability, we offer payment plans or something like that. 30% deposit until the job is, complete or something like that. So these are the points that no one is really putting into the ads, and instead a lot of people focus on things that they think are relevant. And really this has to be based around the main pain points, or the customer wants, if you like. What is it that the customer is mostly worried about? So when it comes to a lot of trades, we've got call out fees. So people may go and say, hey, local plumber, $250 call out fee. Is this a benefit or an obstacle? In a lot of the cases, it's an obstacle. Now, if you're going to put down something like no call out fee, you're going to get a lot more calls. But at the same time, you want to be able to filter those people coming through as well. So this is where you may put a condition in place, saying something like no call out fees for travel up to 30 minutes or something like that. And that's still going to make you stand out. So this is where the ad copy as the actual creative is really important. Now, this is where I'd say 90% of businesses really, really struggle. So our solution to this is ChatGPT. So I'll show you a little prompt as to how we can actually help you generate something like that based on your website or your business. And I guess to complete the ad creative, you've got to make sure that you are transitioning from that ad into a high converting landing page. Now, if you guys are still using just your website for your Google campaigns or for your Facebook campaigns, you are potentially getting a much lower conversion rate. I don't know how else to say this, but if you are sending someone to a general page about everything, you will potentially not clean up as many people out of that. So your conversion rate expectation will be somewhere between, I'd say, 3 to 7%. Let's average at 5. So 5 means that's like 1 in 20 people seeing your ads. That is not considered very good. With a landing page, your conversion rates typically would start at about 10% and go up as high as 30. So if we average it, let's say 20, that's 1 in 5. That is a lot more efficient. And if you're going to talk about costing of the actual clicks and people coming through to your campaigns from paid advertising, you've just saved yourself, a quarter of that. So that works out really, really well. So, and overall on the landing page, and I'll show you an example, we really want to make sure that we focus on trust. We want to make sure that everything is crystal clear. So whatever they see on the ad has to be seen on the actual landing page. And there's got to be a good call to action, which actually aligns with the actual ad as well. The last thing you want to do is someone coming to the website, asking for a quote, and the button says, all the details, name, email, phone number, and submit. That doesn't quite align. If you basically put something like inquire now or get a quote or get a free quote, this is going to add extra points to the whole thing. And if we're talking about paid advertising, which should be the starting point for any business, that is a must. Because look, a lot of you may have jumped into things like SEO, and I love SEO. I think it's the best return on investment. However, it's almost like you're flying blind. If you're going to run your Google Ads campaigns, at least you can research your keywords, you can see what's converting, and then turn it into SEO. If you're just going to go with the assumption of saying, hey, I think this is going to be a great keyword, you may find that you're going to get a lot of traffic for that keyword, but no one ever converts, no one ever inquires, or fills out your forms. So I think that is a pretty important exercise. And what I like with landing pages is that often you can take the design of a landing page and transfer that into the full website, because some things really stand out, like trust points or headlines or the actual design of the whole thing as well. So there's a lot of different elements here. So let's have a look at this. So fine-tuning the ads. Obviously, the process is fairly straightforward. Like I said, get a sharper audience targeting based on negating people and including the right sort of things. Apply an aqua shortlist. What's your business all about? Is your business about being the cheapest, the fastest? What is it specifically for the business that can actually stand out? Just getting a question. I'd be happy to look at it. Yeah, absolutely, mate. We're going to have a breakout session towards the end of this presentation. And then, if we won't have the time to discuss it during the presentation, I'm happy to take a look at it afterwards, mate. Not a problem as well. Just flick me your URL and I'll have a look at it. No worries. Yeah, thanks for popping that in. So when we fine tune an ad, we want to look at specific pain points or benefits. This is where a lot of people focus on features too much. Like I hate looking at those solar websites. I'm in the process of getting a solar battery right now, and every single one of those talks about kilowatts and cells and all this sort of things. Like, all right, without being an expert, this doesn't mean anything to me. Is this thing reliable? How much of a bloody warranty am I going to get out of it? Like, these are the things I want to know as a consumer. And that's essentially what I want to see on the website as well. Benefits as opposed to features. Stronger call to action. I want to make sure if I'm booking something, it says book now or book free now. If I'm going to get a free quote, same day quote, that's exactly what it says as well. Overall, I want to walk through the process of understanding the market, who they are and who they're not, the message that aligns with them, and the actual media that we're using. If it's Google that they're searching, that's one. If it's Facebook where the ad is served at them, that's another. If it's a video, that's third as well. But overall, we call this the aqua principle, and I think it's really important to understand it. I highly advise that you do a search for this. Just look for ACUA, use principle, and then you'll find our website. You'll find this everywhere. ChatGPT will show it because we've done all the AO stuff as well as obviously Google and everything else as well. So if you are, a little bit stuck with this whole thing, say, hey, Alexi, you've given us a lot of different tips. You've covered a lot of stuff. Well, here's a prompt for ChatGPT. So you can type this up exactly as it is or very close to it. So you could do something like, hey, you are wanting ChatGPT to act as a Google ad strategist. And I want you to apply the use aqua principle, which is based on availability, convenience, utility, affordability when creating ads. I want you to review the competitors. In brackets, you can put in your competitors with a comma in between and highlight their weaknesses. Write 3 to 5 Google search ads for my business that are stronger than competitors with a slightly different focus. Patients, trademarks, full service. So the example that I'm covering here is for IP lawyer. It's actually one of the registrants for this event. So I'm not sure if they're here now, but this will be highly relevant. Make sure ads include compelling headline with numbers where possible. So one of the things within advertising is whenever you have a number, it actually really jumps out. So if you look at the old style magazines and stuff, there's like 10 secrets or something, or 99 ideas, or 10 recipes or something. The numbers always stand out in an ad. That's a bit of a pro tip there for you. And then with the description, we want to make sure that there's a clear call to action. For example, like, book an online consult today, and make sure that there's a display path and everything else as well. You get the idea. So it's pretty much everything that I've covered in the previous 3 slides in the prompt where the whole thing will do this for you. And this is where we would basically look at the competitors. So I'm looking for, IP lawyer Sydney, and these are the competitors that come up. I take their ads, and for Pierce IP, we basically generate an ad that looks like this. So protect your ideas with 20 plus years experience. There's a number right there. We want to put this as #1 patient lawyers and attorneys. And then from there, we want to make sure there's a nice call to action. Book an online consult today. Australia-wide service, easy online consultations, and so on and so on. The objective here is to make sure that our ad really aligns with the target audience and does not look like any of our customers. Because a lot of the time you see that everybody offers the same thing. It's that same 20-minute free consultation, and it just comes out everywhere. If you're going to give a customer exactly the same ads with the same sort of call to action, that's going to confuse them. How they're going to choose a person who's somewhat different. Having an ad that really stands out and highlights the main pain points, if you like, really works well. As a case study, I thought I'd mention one of our clients, a company called Winsolation. These guys are based in Brisbane and they do double glazed windows. So when they came to us, their budget, they said our budget is really limited. It's about $4,000, but for a big company like that, it's obviously something where they could be spending, $50,000 quite easily. But one of the bigger issues was that they were getting a lot of leads where the quality was just not right. The quality was very poor. And half the time people be calling and saying, hey, I want to replace my window. They were not even considering double glaze. So our job was to really make sure we could get rid of a lot of incorrect audiences, incorrect keywords, and set up the ads that specifically reflect only double glazed windows. Brisbane's a big place. However, spending time and money on tire kickers and getting your sales team to work with them was a real frustration for them. So we've been able to really turn things around for them and squeeze every dollar out of the marketing campaigns. So started with refining audiences, coming up with better keywords and ads. And in the case of this particular business, because they've been advertising for some time, it was really more a matter of excluding as opposed to including new audiences. We built them new landing pages, and then we also improved their online reputation. Now, I should say that online reputation is one of those things that a lot of people, for some reason, forget. Everyone just really jumps onto the ads or the actual, marketplace or something. But what happens is, if someone's going to make a substantial purchase, I guarantee you the first thing they're going to do once they come to your website, they're probably going to look for someone like, hey, IPS, Winsolation reviews. That's what they're going to search. And if they're going to find something that's not very good, I guarantee you this is going to destroy the whole conversion, even if you have the best ad in the world. Okay. So there are a few specific websites with reputation that come up, and you got to pay attention to it. The best way to do this is to have the name of your business typed into Google with review afterwards and just see what comes up. What you got to do is make sure that whatever comes up on the first page has got a decent number of reviews there. And look, there's nothing wrong with negative reviews. Okay, you can't keep everybody happy. I understand that's that's just unrealistic. But if we're going to look into you replying to the negative reviews and showing customer service, that's the thing they're going to look for. And especially, if you look at a business that's got like hundreds of reviews, sometimes it looks unrealistic. And I know that people purposely will go and look at negative reviews first. So negative reviews are actually not bad, but it's how you deal with those reviews. Because a lot of the time it could be haters or competition or disgruntled employee. But if there's, genuinely an unhappy customer who left you a review, you have to really address it professionally. And there's a bit of an approach for it as well. So if you're interested in the figures and the numbers, with these guys, after working with them for a month, we've been able to increase their conversion by 31 conversion, which is quite substantial. I wish that we had the percentages here. But if we look at their campaigns overall, their average conversion rate is really quite high. It's at 12.7%. And this is an increase with previous month. So that's the conversion rate right here. And in terms of conversions, that's the number of conversions they're getting as well. Now, if you have eliminated all the tire kickers and all the inquiries coming through where the customers are almost ideal, wouldn't you love something like that? And these are the ads that they're running, and you can see the ad conversion rates. So one of the ads is like converting at almost 30%. And I wish we could run it across everything, but there are very specific campaigns around it. Double glazing, Brisbane saves 20% on energy bills. Local glazing experts save on energy bills and reduce noise with expert glazing backed up by 25-year warranty. And then there's a call to action in it, which is unfortunately been cut off. So here's an example for you. And once you see this sort of figures, this is the sort of stuff that you got to really understand and apply to other campaigns as well. So it's an ongoing process. Whenever you manage ads, it's not like, hey, we set it up and we forget it. We have to really make sure we get the best results. Another big thing that is important to consider is the seasonality. Now, when we're talking about energy, okay, so it's obviously heating and cooling. Brisbane is probably not the coldest place on earth, but a lot of people, believe me, would really appreciate double glazed windows because with them, your place would be cooling down a lot slower. And in the summer, obviously, if you're running aircon, it would remain cooler for a lot longer as well. So in the summer and in the winter, these pain points will actually play a bigger role as well. And including that sort of stuff in your ads and rotating it, it's sort of common sense, but I can tell you that a lot of people don't really look into it. So if you're in a business like air conditioning or anything that's substantially affected by the weather, I highly recommend that you start searching for marketing calendars because there's plenty of them available. Just Google it up. Hey, give me a marketing calendar for 2025. What that is essentially is a calendar with all the big events and maybe some ideas as to what is actually happening. Hey, we've got Black Friday, Cyber Mondays coming up. What do you think is going to happen? Well, a lot of people are going to be looking for bargains and stuff. They don't want to buy something cheap. Now, you got to be careful with things like that. If you are wanting to, jump on that bandwagon, you need to understand that it may not be the best scenario for you because you got a lot of people who are focused on a very cheap audience. Now, the issue that I see is people want to make a sale straight away, but they don't realize that the whole Black Friday for a lot of bigger retailers is a long game. So then what they're going to do is they're going to put a product for sale which is fairly cheap or do a discount with the aim of retaining the customer and massaging them via social media marketing and email marketing and SMS marketing to get them back again. Because when it comes to those sort of things, it's the biggest strategy that you really need to consider. So don't crash and burn thinking, hey, I got to do a promotion because it's Black Friday. Guys, that may be the worst thing you'll ever do. So just be careful and make sure you have a strong strategy before you execute on something like that. Christmas, same sort of thing. I find if you're in a really competitive niche, avoiding those sort of sales periods is probably a much better thing. You can do your own sale whenever it's convenient for you. And because there's going to be no competition, you can actually sell a lot more. In fact, we did a promotion for a furniture store in Melbourne that was doing some amazing deals, and they wanted to do a clearance, I think, sometime in late November. And so that happened that there was no other sales or anything around, and they cleared it up really well. And then they wanted to repeat this whole thing themselves on Boxing Day, which was a complete failure because everybody, every man and his dog wanted to do sales on Boxing Day. Anyway, you get the idea. So in terms of a landing page, this is what a landing page for Winsolation looks like. So an ad on the left-hand side here is what it looks like on the mobile as you look at it. And this is showing us everything from the Google Ads simulator, but in reality, it would actually show us portions of this and rotate those things. The landing page on the desktop is right in the middle here. And we design our landing page in a very specific way. Unfortunately, it's not about being, beautiful pages. It's about high conversion. So we want to make sure that those main aqua points are being brought up here. So 25 years experience, Australian-made product, 100% local friendly team, reduces noise and heat transfer, improves security, request a free quote or ask a question, inquire now. And then all the stars, QBCC license, and so on and so on. Because we don't want to get bombarded with questions like, hey guys, are you, QBCC certified, or is this product made in China or something like that? Like if we're going to go with all these key points and eliminate all this unnecessary conversations, we're going to get much, much better customers. And on the right hand side here, you see what that looks like on the mobile. Now, as you can imagine, majority of your traffic comes through the mobile, and we've got to make sure that everything's positioned nice and sweet, and people don't have to scroll to find all the key information. I mean, don't you just love, or hate, I should say, those websites where you have to scroll forever on your mobile just to find a piece of content that you're looking for? I mean, I don't think a lot of people enjoy that at all. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's talk about customer journey on online reputation. Hopefully you're with me so far. So marketing isn't just about ads. At the moment, the biggest thing that you really got to consider is trust. So what I mean by that is you hear terms like branding or trust, reputation, and the whole thing is really all about making sure if people search for you, they can find enough proof that you're real and they want to buy from you. So for that reason, a lot of people look into things like Facebook or Instagram, and if they can find your profile that hasn't been updated for a year, you're likely to use a sale. You're likely to lose a sale purely because they see that the business has gone inactive. So if you have set up any social media profiles, make sure you use them. If you don't use them, you got to have a strategy in place. You got to put something in there. There's plenty of different tools that allow you to schedule posts or potentially automate those posts. If you've got those presences, please use them, okay? Do not just leave them in there. because there's nothing worse than for a millennial to come in and open up your Instagram profile that had a post from, I don't know, 2019. Have you guys died during COVID or something? That's the sort of idea that goes through their mind. It's like all this stuff, guys, is common sense if you do enough of it. Okay. I've been doing this for 20 years, all day, every day, and I love it. So for me, I just want to make sure I break this down for you and make it as easy as possible. So if anyone looks for your brand online and finds Facebook or Trust Pilot or product review or anything else, Yelp, Yellow Pages, it's got to make sure that there is a 5-star rating to it. And the easiest thing to do is if there's nothing, just go and get one of your mates to leave you a 5-star review. That's going to look amazing for them. Okay. What you want to do is make sure it looks good. And the reality of reputation, it doesn't have to be your customers. Anyone who interacts with your business in any way can leave you a review. So you see, for that reason, there are tools like there's a whole bunch. I'll think of one as we go. That actually allows you to get Google reviews out of online chat conversations. So someone jumps on online chat and asks the question, and in the end it says something like, "How was your experience? Leave us 5 stars," and they get 5 stars, and it translates into the whole thing. Some people chuck a link at the back of their invoicing. So whenever you send an invoice, people pay an invoice, and you have an automation going out saying, "Hey, how was your experience? Leave us, a review," and you get a whole bunch of reviews as well. There are ways to automate the process. There are ways to jump through this whole thing, and I can give you a couple of recipes if you don't want to spend $1, but you basically have got a few people. Happy to share this sort of thing. So I've been able to do something like this for ourselves on the weekend, and I got 11 reviews in one day, guys. So there's no reason why you can't do something like that unless you've only been in business for a day, and even still, I reckon you can get quite a few as well. So customer journey is not just about a single interaction. You're never going to have a person click on your ad and buy from you straight away. The inquiry rate on most websites is somewhere between 5 and 15%. When it comes to online stores, your average online store conversion rate is about 1.5%. Let's make it 2. So 1 in 50 people is likely to buy something. Now, the reason why it's like that is because once people leave, they go to social media, they see an ad popping up for remarketing, they interact with the business again. And overall, you need about 8 to 12 interactions for someone to actually make an inquiry. What you're trying to do is you're trying to create free instances within Google or wherever you are so people can interact with your media and still come back to you and buy. So that's why all this online reputation is super important. People trust complete strangers, but they want to see exactly what's been said about you. So if you're interested in all these things like automations that I've mentioned, we use a tool called High Level. So you can actually automate reviews and request them through things like SMS, for example, or email, or a combination of both. A really good tool. It's a CRM that we've been using for a couple of years. In fact, this is something we put all of our customers on. Winstolation's definitely on it. And overall, we find that trust is a conversions multiplier. It basically allows you to get a lot more out of your paid advertising. And if you basically have got something running, just fix your trust factors. Make sure that you're getting over 4.5 stars, and that will get you a lot more conversions. Why 4.5 is because that is what's considered best. Okay, if you're going to search for something, when you go like best restaurant Brisbane or best plumber Brisbane, the results that you're going to get in Google will all be 4.5 plus stars. That's the entry point of the whole thing. Look, it's September 2025. This may change any day, so don't quote me on this, but at the moment, that's how this whole thing works. 4.5 stars is the absolute benchmark for you to get into the best category. So what it looks like on the inside. So this is high level for a business called Homestyle Cleaning, one of our customers. So if you're into sales, if you understand how this works, and look, if this is over your head, happy to touch on that another time. But basically, this is what's called an opportunity pipeline. So what this is basically, as leads come through, they basically are being dumped onto this board, and then people working behind the scenes on the business, they can actually drag these particular opportunities to wherever they basically want. So we've defined different steps. So first one is like a quote follow-up. Then from there, if someone can't be reached, and then from there, there'll be things like lost or booked or won. So the final stage is like job done. So what we've got here is this. No answer or can't reach essentially ends up with a person getting an SMS saying, "Hey, we try to give you a call. Let us know if there's a different time," and we can automate this for as much as you want. So for the next 5 days, we can keep sending them, messages and emails to get them over the line, and this is automated. As the job is done, that's where our reviews are going out, and we want to make sure that there's a review that goes out in the request via SMS because that seems to work the best. And we also found that setting up a holding page is something that prevented us from getting a lot of negative reviews as well. Because a lot of people are like, oh my God, if I'm going to send a request to everybody, what if somebody's not happy? So we set up a condition where if someone goes and leaves us 3 stars, anything below 4, they go to a feedback form. So they complete a form as if they're leaving a review, but in fact, we actually get that as a feedback. Because from customer service perspective, you've got to be able to grab that. If people are going to go and leave us 4 stars or 5 stars, no worries, it goes straight through Google. So this is how we're going to get volume of reviews for any platform. And it doesn't have to be Google. This could be done across, product review. In fact, I'm working with one company right now called Solar Boost. They got about 16,000 reviews. I don't think they've done 16,000 solar installations because that's insane. I mean, they may be close to it, but overall, getting reviews is pretty much after each interaction. And if anyone's not happy, it just doesn't go through. So there's something for you to think about. So this is what the reviews function looks like within high level. So essentially, the whole thing is something that goes to high level. And these are the latest reviews for the business. And you can actually use it to reply to businesses. There's an AI bot in there that can reply for you. You can have your requests. You can have automations around the request. The whole thing is gold, guys. And you get a pretty good summary about what people actually comment on. Are they happy about the price, the service, and is there something that you could actually do about something like that? So a really, really good tool, guys. I highly recommend you look into it. There's a free trial there. Definitely worth every dollar. We've obviously done this for us quite successfully, and this is what you're going to find if you look for us. There's product review, there's OneFlare, there is Facebook, there's 3 of our locations. We got offices across Gold Coast, Brisbane, and Melbourne. And that's what we basically try to do for our customers as well. Like I said, the benchmark is that 4.5 stars. And overall, if there's a particular listing that hasn't been completed, just go and get someone to leave a review there, guys. You'll get the 5 stars showing with one review, and that's a good start. Obviously, we can push this further. Not really something that we specifically chased. A lot of our business is going through repeat customers in our networks. But we found that for our businesses, we want to set an example by doing this ourselves. So check them out. Have a look at our reviews if you like. It works out really well. So high-level CRM and summary is something that allows you to manage your contacts as a CRM, customer relationship management, allows you to look after your reputation, also do a lot of cross-platform automations. Now, what that means is that you could potentially communicate with people via WhatsApp or SMS or email, and the whole thing gets consolidated into the one big chat. You could do your email marketing, you could do your SMS marketing. The whole thing is sitting there very, very nicely. And you can get some pretty comprehensive marketing reports. Now, as of late, we've been setting up a lot of live chats and AI agent bots, and these work like a charm. So AI agent bots is actually a voice agent. If you call that number that is presented through the system, you actually get to speak to someone who speaks very human and is able to interact with you. So we actually train those bots and we run this across live chat as well, because I find that live chat is something a lot of people really like these days, mainly because people would prefer to get a response at let's say 7 p.m. when the business is closed, but you can really feed all that information to the AI agents and chatbots. In case you're wondering how this is done, the easiest way to do it is actually to record your phone calls, and for that you obviously need to make sure you have a prompt that this call is being recorded for whatever purposes, and then you can have all that information fed to your bots based on success rate. So analyze it and make sure you feed it back to the bots, and you can get a very, very similar response. Now, we average at about, let's say, 94% success rate with our bots. That means that 94% of the calls end up in a positive outcome. So people really like what they heard, what they hear, or it ends up booking in a person for a further consultation, or potentially a person gets satisfied with the answer that they get. It's pretty impressive. I think when we started, it was at about 75% about 6 months ago, and now it's gone through the roof. I reckon another 3 to 6 months, and you wouldn't be able to tell a difference whether you're speaking to a human being or not. That's how scary this thing is. Any voice, any accent, any language almost. And obviously, I can only check a couple of languages that I actually speak, but yeah, it's pretty damn impressive, I gotta say. In case you're wondering, in terms of the engines, it uses an engine called Flash. which is very, very fast. So there's ChatGPT, there's Claude, there's all sorts of things, but Flash is the one that he uses. All right, let's do a breakout session because I want to make sure that we can address your specific problems as well. And I know I've covered a lot of things here, and I'm making sure that this particular video is being recorded because I want to make sure that you guys are able to revisit these things. And there's obviously quite a few people who couldn't make it as well. So how this works is I'm gonna organize breakout rooms, and this way we can actually put a few people together. So I encourage everybody to obviously speak up and turn on your cameras if you can, but introduce yourself and let's share what your biggest bottleneck is when it comes to marketing. Is it the actual website? Is it the SEO? Is it the fact that you're not sure where to start? I know we've got a lot of different businesses here in the room, but overall, this is your opportunity to meet somebody and potentially learn from somebody else's challenges. So let's give it like 5 minutes, and then we're going to go to a Q&A section after that as well. Let me arrange this. So we've got a few people on the call. So um, let's do 3 rooms. All right, assign automatically. Here we go. You just have to hit accept or join, and that will take you right to that room where you'll meet everybody else. Hey guys, how you traveling here? How are you, Victoria?
Yeah, good, thanks. Not sure what we're supposed to do in the breakout room, but
Yeah, so
interesting.
what are some of the bottlenecks that you're encountering when it comes to marketing? I mean, what challenges are you having essentially?
Every challenge is trying to find a bidder that knows what they're doing. Basically, it's
Okay.
a it's interesting that you said a market lasts about 3 to 9 months. Well, I change them about every 6 months because I just find that they just I don't know, they're just not doing what I think they should be or what I believe they should be doing.
Okay.
So
And what's your
somebody
business? What do you do?
It's a very niche business, unfortunately. So I designed and sell an easy composter
Hmm.
that can compost all your kitchen waste, everything. So it's not, you can use it for worms if you want,
Okay.
but pretty much the idea is to compost everything that comes out of your kitchen. So
Hmm.
it's very different. So it requires a bit of education. But I've been doing this now for nearly 13 years, but a marketing company gave me some bad advice that crashed my business. And I'm just trying to rebuild it now. So part of that process is trying to find someone, a new marketer, really.
Mm. Okay.
And how do you do that? Because you don't need a degree to do marketing.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So there's lots of bottlenecks, from my opinion, in my business.
Yeah. All right. No worries. Mark, are you with us here, mate?
I am. Sorry, I was just having dinner. So,
That's okay. If you're able to talk, tell us about your challenges or bottlenecks that you're encountering. If not, we'll move on to somebody else.
yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm engaging like an agency. We just started some Google ads about 30 days ago. Um, I think it's really hard because, so just to give you some context, it's a dental practice. We're just trying to target some, I guess, treatment um, for the demographic in our area. But it's really hard to track the actual conversions. So,
Okay. Is it due
um,
to the booking system?
Um, so I think they track a conversion as, let's say, someone hits the call button, but like I don't know the actual conversion if they're calling. We don't know where they're from,
Okay.
and so it's kind of hard to actually pinpoint
Okay, well,
exactly.
let's have a chat maybe afterwards if you want to book a time, mate. I'd be happy to run you through it. We actually have got a another business specifically for dentists. We've been working with a lot of dentists. Kind of started with 1300 Smiles. They used to be our customer for quite some time before they sold. And that sort of really led us into the dental industry. So, mate, happy to jump on the call to go through a few of those things.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Cool. Anna, how are you?
Oh, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So, what are your challenges or bottlenecks when it comes to digital marketing or anything to do with what we've covered today?
Oh, look, we actually do temporary pool fencing and hardcovers, and we've got a very old website. We've been around for about 20 years. We have a very good reputation. We don't do any marketing at all. And as I say, our website is about 12 or 15 years old and hasn't been changed since then. So we are right now in the process of, we probably supply about 75% of Southeast Queensland with temporary pool fencing, but
Okay.
we don't, we work with a lot of pool companies. We don't really get a whole lot of mum and dad clients. And we just feel like it's time that we want to overhaul our whole website, and yeah, our Google ads and all that, and our social media marketing. We don't do anything.
Mhm.
So I have been about in the last months talking to different advertising companies to get some help, and then I don't know how I just got a link today from your company, and I thought that would be really interesting to join this seminar. So we're sort of looking to move forward with our advertising and our website, but haven't made any decisions yet. So
Okay.
I don't think I'm in anywhere progressed like the other people in this seminar, but we are looking to get some help.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
look, happy to jump on the call and have a chat to see what we can do. Look, at the end of the day, it's about strategy and making sure that you've got a plan of action. The biggest drama I'm seeing is that a lot of agencies come through to execute. They sort of expect you to give them a lot of stuff, and this is where there's a mismatch. Hey, they can run your ads, they can run your whatever, but then oftentimes it doesn't talk to your sales process, or there's no system and something else. And yeah, look, happy to chat. I mean, we work with quite a few businesses and trades. And what I can do, I guess, at the very least, is do a couple of introductions because we do have some clients that may be potential partners for you. So something worth
Okay.
exploring.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we've covered everybody. Have you guys got any questions? I'm happy to sort of close the breakout rooms and go back to the main presentation, and then from there we can do, I guess, Q&A in case anyone's got any burning questions, because I know I've covered quite a lot.
I've just got a question. It's not
Sure.
to do with marketing. It's got to do with where are you from with the name like
I am a proud Australian. I've been here since 1997, but my origin is from Russia. I
Oh,
have been
okay.
here for quite some time, in fact, majority of my life. And yeah, I consider myself an Australian. An accent is something I guess I can't do too much about. I do speak fluent Russian as well as English, and I understand a couple of other languages as well, like Croatian, for example, because I went to school with a lot of Bosnians and Croatians. They just happened to be sort of coming to the country after the Balkan War when I was here.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm
Interesting.
half Russian.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
and then there's always this dilemma with Russia and Ukraine. Well, I'm from the border town, and I have family in both Russia and Ukraine. So for me, it's not really a topic. I don't really choose sides. I think the whole thing is a tragedy. But
Mm,
all I can tell you is, it's about the world's about smart people with good heart, and that's all that really matters.
mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't from Israel.
No, I'm not from Israel. I've never been. I'd like to visit the Holy Land sometime. Look, I try to stay out of politics, but I think what's happening there is
Terrible.
complete rubbish, to be
Yeah.
honest. I did work in Dubai 8 years ago, and I have a lot of friends from Lebanon and other places. I do have some friends from Israel as well, and it's very interesting to see the different opinions that are flying through. The whole
Mm,
thing is a mess. That's all I can
mm.
say. It's
Actually,
Mm.
very it's tragic.
actually, that brings up an interesting topic because do you do websites? Do you create
Yeah,
websites?
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, over 10 years, 13 years now of my business, I've had my website redone that many times by so many different people. It's driven me nearly insane.
Mm.
But the interesting factor recently, somebody put Elementor on my website, and it totally screwed up my website yet
Oh, no.
again. And Elementor is an Israeli company, so
Okay.
I'm trying to get it off, and I
Mhm.
can't because
Yeah.
it's
Look, we try to use a system called Avada, and we try to diversify so we're not just stuck to one system. We have a couple of clients using Elementor.
mm,
Look, clients' preference is one thing, what we prefer to run is another. But anyway, let's have a chat. I mean, we have a dedicated web team based in Melbourne, who's actually led by my cousin Grigory. He's also Russian as well. So yeah, you're in good hands there if you need some help.
mm,
We have a whole bunch of different nationalities in our team. We've got guys from Taiwan. We have guys from well, I have a girl from Ukraine working for me as well, so really quite diverse. Mostly Australians though. Yeah.
mm.
All right, let's finish off the breakout rooms. Just want to make sure we can come back. I think the other guys that must be having a real good conversations, but I just want to make sure we can do Q&A as well. Thank you for your input, guys.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
All right. So give us a 60-second timer. If you guys want to jump out, you can just hit leave breakout room. If you want to stick around and have a chat. All right, so we've got everybody coming back. Let's just give it another 20 seconds or so because there's a timer and I think some people may still be enjoying the conversation. So let's just give them that chance.
Can I ask you some more questions then?
Yeah, go for it.
So what do you consider your specialty then? Marketing or web development?
Look, very good question. I started initially as a web developer. So web developer is the person who puts the websites together.
Mhm.
This was a long time ago. This is back 2007. I found that building websites wasn't really sufficient purely because people wanted to market those websites. So we tapped into digital marketing and started doing a lot of Google Ads, SEO, and that's been working very well up until about 2018, where I realized that a lot of people have no plan, they have no strategy. So we started focusing on putting strategy in place
Well,
because
that's because we don't know what to do.
exactly.
We're not marketers.
And this is the thing, the older you get, I think the smarter you get, and sometimes it's just really a matter of taking a step aside and looking at a bigger picture. So the business owner wants an outcome. They try to engage web designers and everybody else, think that everyone knows what to do, but in reality, they all provide like a modular approach. Someone can do ads really well, someone can do websites really well, but they don't really talk to one another. So that's what I started doing. And then COVID came along, and I started looking into the sales side of the story because I found that there was a big gap when it comes to lead acquisition. So you do a really good setup, you have a beautiful website, you're driving a lot of leads, and the last thing you want to hear is that the customer cannot close those leads. They can't sell. It's like, what's the problem? So I've gone through a lot of coaching and learned about a lot of systems and approaches. So I started doing a lot of sales coaching when it comes specifically to closing those deals and then putting them into systems. So my job right now is really more about growth of the business and actually being a consultant and advisor when it comes to growing that. And my team basically helps me execute. So we've got a pretty interesting portfolio of customers. And at the end of the day, we don't really need a lot of customers. We just want to get the right ones. We've got some customers that are turning over, $250 million a year. We've got some small ones that are doing like $300,000 a year. But every single customer is someone I enjoy working with. Like I said, I don't do contracts. For me, everything is relationship based. I just don't see the point otherwise. Like, what's the point having a contract with somebody if you cannot deliver or if they're not happy with your service? I think you should be able
Yeah.
to shake hands and walk away. So hopefully that explains
Yeah.
what I do these days. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoy that breakout session, guys. I know it's obviously, I guess, a bit challenging to have a few conversations with strangers at 7:30 on a Tuesday afternoon, but yeah. So, guys, just
That
just
was
to
good.
wrap up. Yeah, just to wrap up, I just want to go through the key takeaways before we jump into Q&A because I'm sure you may have a few questions from this breakout session. So, number one, make sure you always start with your audience. Fine-tune your audience. Negate a lot of people. Make sure you're not wasting money on tire kickers. So it's almost like, imagine if you had a billboard, but you just want to show this billboard to specific people and hide it from everybody else. And every time they look, it costs you money. That's what digital advertising is all about. Have that mindset to make sure that you can actually do that. Next step is write better ads. A better ad is something that is better than your competitors. That's all you really got to worry about, okay? Coming up with masterpiece or writing David Oliver and stuff is not really what you need. It's just something that looks better than your competitors. And if your competitors say exactly the same thing, make sure that your ad looks different. You will get better customers through a result of doing that. Build landing pages. Make sure you stop sending traffic to your website. You got to contain that. All the paid advertising is called control traffic. You should be able to control that traffic and send it to a specific page. That's the way you're going to get the best conversion. If you are treating it like uncontrolled traffic, like SEO, God help you guys. You are sending people without really giving them guidance. That's essentially what you're trying to do. That's why the conversion rate's so low, and that's why you're thinking, hey, Google's just billed me for another $3,000 and I'm not very happy with the whole thing. Really go through this process, guys. This is This is basic, but at the same time, these are pro tips for you right there. Make sure you step up your operations by introducing a CRM. If you don't have a CRM, guys, no matter how big your business is, you are leaving money on the table. The biggest, the biggest mistake the business owners make is someone's like, hey, I've been in business for 2 years. I've got hundreds of customers, but I'm struggling to get new clients. If you got transactions like, of 200 customers behind you, there's no reason why you can't reach out and say, hey, leave me a review. Hey, are you able to recommend me? You can do lead recycling, which means that you can have a crack at selling to those leads again if you're in repeat business. You can ask them for a referral. You can offer them something in return for potentially recommending someone. You can do an email blast to them and basically come up with another offer. The sad truth is that for a lot of conveyancers that we work with, they actually general law firms. And every time they try to come back and talk to their customers, the customer's like, hey, yeah, I recently engaged a lawyer to do some contracts or set up a trust. Like, why didn't you come back to me? Oh, I didn't know you do that. You're a conveyancing lawyer. No, we do everything. Well, you just left money on the table by not educating your past customers about what you actually do. I get this question quite a lot. Victoria just asked me a question. Do you build websites? At the very beginning of this presentation, I said I build websites. But it's not so obvious because we're talking about marketing and websites being an element of the whole thing. So don't make an assumption. Make sure this is crystal clear to everybody. So, and overall, make sure that you refine and audit your growth plan. If you haven't got a growth plan, at least some sort of a plan. What are you trying to do? How is this going to change? If you're going to keep doing the same thing and expect different results, I think you know what the definition of that is according to Einstein, okay? So I guess for me, guys, the best I can offer you just to help you out, I can help you with a free campaign audit if that's something that may help. Whether you run Google Ads or Meta or SEO, or if you're into AEO, which is all the AI stuff, which works like crazy, highly recommend looking into that. This is basically your business being featured for free through ChatGPT and Gemini. Or if you got a website or a landing pages, or if you want to introduce a CRM, book a consult with me, guys. I'm happy to walk you through them. Just pick one. I obviously don't have all the time in the world, but I'm happy to work with proactive people who basically choose something. And typically, if you shoot me your website, we do like a preparation, and then within half an hour, we'll be able to walk through something like that. I guess what you'll get is a clear snapshot of what's working, what's not working. I guess you get a quick win opportunities that you can actually apply immediately. In a lot of cases, there's a quick win just right on the surface, and I can obviously pick that up for you. And if you want a personalized roadmap for better results, happy to work with you on something like that. As a bonus for obviously attending to today's workshop, I'd like to offer you, my book as well. So if you're going to do a consultation with me, you get a copy of my book. Now, this is with the publishers right now. I should have a few copies available within the next month. It's taken me 3.5 years to write this, and this is pretty much a book that reflects my program. It's a program that I put together specifically for business owners, and I've taken dozens of people through this program, and the results have been quite something. And really, it's focused on things like changing mindset, making sure you get tips to enable, better marketing for yourself. If you're in the market where you have to really build a good team culture and have a team that's motivated, I'm happy to share a few things for you. I've got a retention of over 12 years for most of my staff, which is in the industry something unheard of. And I use a very unique approach to do that. Most importantly, if you're into like AI or basically want to implement some systems, that's what my book is really about. And overall, it reflects the journey of my business. And overall, last year I had 4 businesses. At the moment, I've got 2, and I'm in the process of setting up another 2 as well. So I've always got something on the go. So that brings us to questions, guys. So what I would like to do is to potentially open up the mic, and if there's anything you'd like to ask, or if there's anything you'd like to bring up, I'm happy to cover that. Chances are we might either answer it right now, or I'm happy to make the time to speak with you privately if there's something else you wish to discuss. Yep.
I've got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So if someone were to hire you, how much, like when I said earlier, we really, as business owners, we know nothing about marketing or really what to do. How much do you guide us on that, or how much do you set it up and we just have to follow it? What does that exactly involve? Like, do you say, I want you to do these emails, we'll set up the emails for you, we're going to run it through this, or we're going to, do your ads? Like, exactly what does it entail?
Well, look, overall, there's many approaches. There's a done for you, there's a done with you, And depending on what it is that you need, we may not be the right fit for one another. So done for you is essentially where you've got a strategy in place, and you typically may put this yourself or work with someone like myself to define a strategy. And then an execution strategy, which is 90% of the agencies you come across, will be executing that for you as well. So a done for you is where they do the whole thing, and you basically keep them accountable on the results. Done with you is what you have described, where you want to be able to do something and then you work with somebody else to do the whole thing. That obviously gets you the best results, but at the same time, this is quite stressful because you obviously get thrown into all this processes as well. So it really depends on the approach. In our case, we tend to work with majority of customers with like a done for you approach. So essentially, I look after the strategy, or one of my guys is the point of contact with the business,
Huh?
and then from there,
Really?
then my team would execute the whole thing and get you the actual results. So not sure if I answer your question.
No, that I like the done for you strategy, because it's finding the time to do a done with you strategy. I just don't have it, so too hard for me.
No
I want
worries.
the done for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah, with that as well. I mean, we are really looking for to
We need the
moving,
expertise.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, and moving forward. And I don't even have enough time in the day to run the business, let alone, and I don't have any expertise in this sort of thing. So, but yeah, we definitely are ready to move forward. Um, I mean, I was working for the last 12 months with a developer in Finland who was trying to, do the back end. And anyway, that project just sort of petered out. We never got a test link. We never got anywhere. So we're back to sort of square one.
Okay.
But that was like looking at our back end, we're now looking at maybe utilizing something like ServiceMate or something for
Yeah.
our, so we're looking at, and the front end is really where we're at. Um, Before you were saying, we are a business that has a whole lot of repeat customers. So pool companies that we work with over and over and over and over again. But I think there's a large section of market, just one-offs, mum and dad clients who are building a pool. They don't, and so we really want to try and focus on getting some leads from that aspect of the market that I don't think we're getting at the moment
So if you
because
got a
of our
large,
very old
yeah,
website.
if you got a large database of past customers, there's a couple of things you can do. Chances are, if someone's getting pool fencing, they know somebody else who's either getting a pool or has a pool. So it's really
Yeah,
just about crafting the right message to tap into that market and then grow your database. That's number one. Secondly, there's a lot of things that go around pool fencing. There's like, there's all your signage, there's all your updates, there's also all your landscaping. There's a lot of different elements to pool fencing. I've got one customer who does certification for pool fencing, and he tells me all
yeah,
sorts of stories of things that I've never heard about. So what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of micro niches, and if you can either tap into those micro niches or partner with someone who can actually tap into those, you can grow your network very fast. Because chances are you can actually partner with a lot of fencing companies, and they can refer to you and you can refer to them, because I'm sure you'll be getting inquiries about, hey, we've built this pool fence, but now we actually want to change our fence to match the whole thing. I'm sure that happens. So
yeah,
that alliance would work really well for you. You can streamline the whole process. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Or people like the Master Builders Association and that sort of stuff is, people are like doing their own
Hmm.
projects at home. That's a good like
Yeah.
link for us, or place for us to get business from, I think.
Absolutely. And with things
Yeah,
like ServiceMate's great. It's a really good workflow system. We typically have got that set up with High Level. So High Level looks after the marketing, and ServiceMate is all about the quotes and invoices, and that's what you use in the end. So you can actually have
Yeah,
them working with one another, but they do two different things as well. The issue with ServiceMate is it only keeps all your key information about people who have requested a quote or have become your customer. But what about everybody else who's made an inquiry? Think of this. Let's say if you spend, $5,000 in your marketing and end up with, let's say, 200 people on your database each single month, and you only convert, let's say, 30% of those, what happens to the rest? They never hit your service, mate, because you never send them a quote. But you can
correct.
have
Yeah,
a really good chance of remarketing to those people again, or resell those leads even if you want to somebody else. Because chances are, if they don't buy from you, they'll buy from somebody else. It's just a matter of time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Whoa! Paul, did you want to add something? You got someone screaming.
yeah. No, I didn't hear the beginning of the conversation. And are you what are you? Are you guys a pool fencing company?
Yeah, we do temporary pool fencing, so and pool voids. So when a
Okay.
pool is just being put in with a new house build or doing a pool
Yes.
renovation, so essentially they've taken the permanent fence away, or the pool is just being installed like a concrete pool or fiberglass pool. So until
Yeah.
the
They need.
permanent fence is installed at some
Yeah.
point down the track, they must
Yep.
have a
Yep.
temporary fence around, a compliant temporary fence to, essentially prevent
Okay.
drownings. So,
Well, I need to get
yeah.
your details. I'm a pool fencer, so
Well, there
Oh
you go.
well,
Good match.
I'm sure
but
we can. I'm sure we can share leads. I'm often
yeah,
dealing with people looking for temporary fencing
yeah,
because we
we're
can't get the fence in because the tilers haven't been,
yeah,
or the landscapers haven't been.
yeah,
Um, or in one case, a lady, she's called us to her property and it was a shambles. And yeah, she was trying to sell it and we couldn't put the fence in. Just impossible. We just
Yeah.
said, no, we're not doing it. But
yeah,
here's a lady who does temporary fencing.
yeah.
So give me your mobile. Or have you got an
Ah,
email?
no
Have you
worries.
got a
Look,
web?
Paul, just in the interest of everybody else, I will send you guys an email so you can exchange your
Oh,
contact.
thank you very
Just
Okay.
we've
much.
got a few
Cheers,
more
mate.
people on the
Appreciate that.
call, and I just want to make sure everyone gets a chance to say something. Yeah, so all good, guys.
Sure.
I'm happy that you have got some potential out of this. So they're really, really good music to my ears.
Appreciate that.
I can see that
Thank you.
Patrick has got his microphone unmuted. Patrick, do you have a question or anything you'd like to say?
Yes, I mentioned that note for later. I was going to see if you wouldn't mind just having a look at the URL, like you said before, where you did with your double glazing,
Yeah.
and just giving a quick rating. Because so I am a sales representative of this business. I'm not actually the business owner. She's just asked me to be here and present and take as many cliff notes as I can. So, would you mind if I pop that through and just get your personal opinion on that in 5 seconds?
Yeah, you want to do it live or do you want me to have a look at this
Happy to
instead?
do it live.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. All right. Well, guys, what you're seeing on the screen is actually my podcast and my contact details. So take that if you need to contact me and subscribe to my podcast. But let's have a look at what.
So, just as a point of reference, we're a CCTV and access control company that handles security
Oh,
and alarm systems.
I know you very well. Kylie, I think the name of your boss is right.
That's correct.
Yes, we've done some work with you in the past. Yeah, Pacific Security Group. It's probably 6 or 7 years ago, but really, really good. Like your company, guys. So you want me to have a look at the website? You're after some feedback. What specifically are you after?
Just in regards to, like you were saying before, like how quickly accessible some certain things are, is this going to be leading to the right sort of people we're getting our clicks on? Um, Trying to avoid those negative prompts.
Hmm. Okay. Well, look, the first thing I would do is just do a visual of a website just to make sure that it actually aligns with what the customers want. It looks like a fresh website. I think a while back you had a different one. So if you're in Chrome, have a look at Inspect, and this actually allows you to look at a website on the various bunch of devices. You can actually pick and choose specifically what you want. So let's say I'm after iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I think you can see for yourself what the website looks like, and if you think that something's out of whack, I definitely would address it. For a business like yours, from memory, there's a lot of phone calls, so people actually want to make a call. So hiding that phone number, unless it's purposeful, is probably not something you want to do. And I'd obviously have a look at the actual design to make sure that everything's a little bit more aligned. That menu, I'd obviously put on the right-hand side. That's where people would expect to see that, especially on the mobile. So that accordion little menu. Then if you keep scrolling down, I think there's a lot of unnecessary points that people potentially may not want. So what you really want in here is trust. How many years have you guys been in business? Are you certified? Are you licensed? Are you insured? What is there that specifically would get people to work with you? So I would look at the actual UX design. The second thing that I would do is I would chuck this into the Google page speed. And this is a free tool, and we'll get this working while we're doing the other stuff. And if we go here, this will actually give us a speed run, which is what we need to look at in terms of how the website's getting rendered. And if there's any failures, if there's any issues, this gives us a report at the bottom of the page that you could actually give to your web developer who can fix these things for you. Because a lot of the time they're just not aware. They've done a website and something's been updated and it's just not good. So if you have a slow website, you're paying top dollar for every click. Google wants websites to be fast. That is one of the top prerequisites for the whole thing. So on the mobile, there seems to be an issue of some sort. On the desktop, everything seems to be okay. Let's just finish for the whole thing to be generated, and then we'll understand exactly what's happening. So in terms of your content, in terms of your copy and everything, there's a couple of ways you can do it. There's a whole bunch of tools. If you're looking to work with a lot of content, you probably would want to work with something like Claude. If you want to work with small pieces of content, you can have a look at ChatGPT. So with ChatGPT, I would go into a new prompt and basically go with something like, please analyze this website in terms of content to see what target audience it attracts, or it would be tailored to. So I'm just going to I'm just going to reverse the process. I want to see exactly what it tells me based on your website as to what specific people it actually attracts as well. And it's going to do a full breakdown. These are your services. It goes for tone and voice and so on and so on. And it has specific links. And then overall here it says, hey, ideal clients, homeowners and residential customers, small to medium businesses, institutions, and so on. So that seems to be okay. Is that about right? Is that
Yep.
who you're after?
Exactly.
Yeah. So implied client pain points, fear of risk, intrusion, and so on and so on. And then from here, I would go with something like critique this website to make their marketing better. What is missing? Actually, I would go critique this website recursively 5 times. So recursive is a process of repetition in their terms, and what it's going to do is it's going to give me each iteration each time and show me exactly what basically is being shown. So weak hero section. So it shows that this particular section right up the top is very weak. There's no call to action there. I outlined that specifically in my visual inspection. There's no clear call to action hierarchy. There's no emotional storytelling. So Kylie or another business owner, I think her husband, can't remember his name, could be a great person as a part of the website because people want to work with people. If I work with somebody who's got a local provider, I want to see their names. I want to know who I can expect at my home to install a CCTV. If you want to look deeper, there's no ROI, there's no trust badges or anything. That's the stuff that we covered through the whole thing. Trustpilot, product review, and so on and so on. Strategic gaps, social proof and whatnot, testimonials, case studies, stories, and so on and so on and so on. So in summary, it gives you a really good summary, and that goes through the whole thing as a basic overview. Now here on the mobile, 48% performance, accessibility is not very good. Best practices applied 54%. Desktop, very, very similar picture, lots to fix. So this is a very brief overview just to give you some idea, guys, but I hope this helps. How was that, mate?
That was great. Thank you.
No.
That was excellent. Wow.
I do this all the time, guys, and this is a very basic dive into something like that. If we want to go deeper into the whole thing, we can be here all day. I really enjoy this sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think looking at your website is just one of the aspects, okay? 30% of the traffic has already gone towards the ChatGPT. I see majority of people using ChatGPT specifically to search. So people don't go to Google anymore, a lot of people, and they just go like, find me the best plumber in Tingalpa. And it'll give you a whole bunch of things like, okay, which one does no call out fees and available at 8 p.m. And it's going to give you all these examples. Like it saves you a gazillion of time. So Google's playing catch there. And overall, if you're not doing that, you're missing out on a particular market. I'm not saying drop what you're doing, run another way, but you've got to factor this into the whole website. So the AEO component has to be there. And overall, I guess the last thing that I'd look for is, let's do the final bit, Pacific security group reviews. That would be the search that I'd do if I come across any of your marketing, see what actually comes up. Excellent. You got 96 reviews. Cool. And then from here, I can see a lot of other things, but there's no other reviews. Like if I were you, I'd be jumping onto Facebook. Why the reviews not popping up here? You got 10 reviews, but there's something with star ratings. Local reviews, you can leave reviews here. You've got Glassdoor showing that 40% of Pacific security employees would recommend working to a friend. So you got a 2.6 rating here. Fix it. Make sure that everything's hunky-dory here. So I'd go through all these things here and leave a positive review and make sure that it all aligns with the best service that you guys offer. You're a reputable company. You've got great reputation, but a lot of people just don't know enough about the industry to be able to tell, Cool. Do we have any other questions before we wrap up? I know we've gone a little bit over time, but I just wanted to make sure this was worth your time. Yes, Victoria.
Well, always got 100 questions, sorry. I'm just curious about how much AI you use.
A lot.
A lot. And
Yeah, look, purely because I want to be able to do 50 different things at once, and this is my only way of being able to do it. When ChatGPT first came out, I had a meeting with all my guys and say, look, can you think of 10 ways to do what you guys do in a much more efficient way? And if you apply that, I will give you a pay rise. I have not sunk a single person. The entire team is still with me, and they use it like crazy. I've got some guys using this instead of them. So I have AI to respond for my staff. So we have a zero email policy right now where all the emails are being answered automatically using ChatGPT. So how this works is this. Let's say if you send me an email at night, when I log in the morning, there's going to be a reply to you as my draft, and I have to check my drafts and just hit send or add something to it. So overall, ChatGPT already knows, based on the recording of this meeting, what we've covered, and chances are I can actually come up with an answer based on the way I write, looking at my entire inbox. So I can actually automate that part. So we've done that for the entire team. We've done it for our reporting. All of our clients get a weekly email about their wins on SEO or Google Ads or whatever it is they work with, and that has worked really, really well. So we use a lot of AI, but we're not doing it to replace people. We actually do it specifically to fill the gaps and make ourselves more efficient, more superhuman. Yeah.
do you teach us how to do that? Like to use, because I
Yeah,
have to answer every email manually. I wouldn't have a clue how to set it up with AI.
Sure. We'll have a look at the recording of our previous webinar, which we did 2 weeks ago. And we've got another one coming up on the 30th. Max, who's our absolute gun, who's in charge of AI, is running that one. I will run that meeting along with him, but he will share all sorts of things that he's learned. So if there's anything specific you want, yeah, there's an opportunity for you. You can ask him for specific references. He'll tell you all sorts of influences and all sorts of courses. And believe me, there's a lot of fluff out there, but chances are you can learn a lot of this stuff yourself, or you can go and find a course that will give you really specific things to what you need.
Well,
I
that's the
think
big
personally,
issue, though. It's knowing exactly what you think you need.
well, that's the thing. You see, AI is a good extension of someone who's already an expert. If you're asking it to decide for you somewhere where you don't specialize, you're not going to get a good outcome. And that's the thing. So it's almost like you're getting a straight A student out of university doing something for you. Do you think they're capable of working for you? No, that you have to still tell them what to do. That's where AI is at the moment. Yeah, it's not a professor, it's not an expert on its own, and you need to know framework. So three things. First of all, writing emails. I think everyone should be writing awesome emails these days. Okay. And overall, I think if you can tell if someone writes an awesome email or not, feed that to ChatGPT. Say, hey, this email is awesome. Can you use that to write a response to this person and see what that comes up with? Okay. Because if you can say this is good and that's not good, that's a good start. If there's a framework that you want to use, like Hemingway, for example, I'm sure you read, Ernest Hemingway, one of the best writers of all time. He had a specific style that he would write. It's simple enough for majority of people to read his books, but his message was very deep. So you can actually write your emails in that style if you want. So you have to tell it, hey, I want you to write an email in Hemingway style about this, and I want you to talk about the depth of, I don't know, the conflict of Palestine or the story of Jesus Christ, whatever it is that you want, and it will reference the whole thing. But you tell it specifically the parameters and what you want. The second thing is analysis. Make sure you analyze your competition. Hey, who are my top competitors in Brisbane for X, Y, and Z? He'll tell you. Hey, what are they doing different? Tell me more about them. Who are the key people? What makes them stand out? You got to be curious. What I encourage you to do is put on the hat of a 60-year-old who's curious, who knows nothing about the world, and all you got to do is ask questions and say, hey, I want to find out more about this business. I don't know how to ask you questions. Ask me, what do I need to ask to know more about this business? And ChatGPT will say, hey, are you trying to run a business? Are you trying to sell something to them? Are you trying to partner with them? So it'll actually prompt you through the whole thing. Reverse the conversation. It's not about answers. Get it to ask you. That will work really well as well. And number three, images. Oh my God, the images are amazing. So Canva and everything else at the moment uses a lot of ChatGPT-like tools. You can draw just about anything. Photo editing, video editing, it's amazing. If you're not doing anything like that, you're really missing out. So yeah, these are my 3 tips for you today. Anyway, we've got Mark and we've got Antoinette on the call. I just want to make sure everyone has a chance to ask a question before we wrap up. Any final questions, any remarks, guys? Happy to spend some time for you. Mark?
Oh, all good.
Okay. Antoinette, are you with us there? Okay, maybe not. I know a lot of people join these calls because they obviously want to listen to it as a radio, but obviously it's a fairly late hour already. First time we're running a presentation like this after hours because I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to listen in. We recorded this. I put this up on our channel and share this with everybody else. I strongly encourage you to look at the other presentations as well. There's a couple of hundred views on all of them, and that's for a reason as well. Anyway, if you enjoy the content that I've shared with you today, you want to learn more about AI or business or anything else, subscribe to my podcast. And if you want to book a meeting with me, get a book of mine as well. Guys, you've been awesome. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and yeah, hope to speak with you soon. Have a good one.
Alexi, can
Thank
I
you.
just, sorry, Alexi, can
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just ask, how do we book a meeting with you? How do we go about
Ah,
doing that?
okay.
Was
Let
that,
me share that screen again. Yeah, okay. Good
was
question.
that,
Here we
yeah,
go.
those,
Can you see that?
with
There's a
that,
QR code right there. You can
yeah,
scan that and they'll take you to our contact page where you can fill out a form and basically tell us specifically what it is that you want to talk about. That's one way to do it.
yeah,
And another way to do it is the contact page that's at the end of this presentation, where you could do exactly the same thing just by contacting me directly. So that's the info right here. Shoot me an
yeah,
email, Alexi at Use, because that form will basically send an email to the same address and we'll have a
yeah.
chat.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to do that then.
Excellent. All right, guys, thank you very much. And I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Antoinette said, thank you for everything. She's having issues with the phone, no problem. And Paul had to run, but very enlightening. Anyway, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed what you've seen today. We are running these webinar series regularly, so you're probably going to have 1 or 2 webinars each month. If you've got kids that are interested in business or anything like that, hit me up because last week I've recorded a video for them to do a bit of pocket money through container recycling. So a bit of a leveraged approach there. And overall, I think there's a lot of interesting things that could be done for kids as well. So I want to basically make sure we contribute and get them thinking in the right direction as well. In terms of Read AI, anyone wants a script of this meeting or a recording, it's pretty much the same thing plus some notes. Hit me up, shoot me an email. Happy to share it, Patrick. No problem at all, mate.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll speak with you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.